Wonder Woman.
This movie fucking sucks. What's up, YouTube? We're here for the Wonder Woman movie review. We actually just got back from the theater seeing it like 5 minutes ago. Now, if you saw the little clip at the beginning of the review, then you might have an idea how we felt about this movie. But without further ado, we're going to get into it. Now, Wonder Woman was a step in the right direction for DC films. Like, how you feel?
It was much better than that shitty ass Batman vs Superman movie for sure.
Yeah, like it actually had a cohesive story, so I guess that's good. But I know, like, let me just start from the beginning. In the beginning, they're in like the Amazonian like land, Themyscira or something. I know I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. The acting by all the Amazons on that island was totally horrible.
Literally, the whole fucking island had the same expression, whether somebody was dying, training, or fucking doing some type of lesbian activity.
Yeah, like, it was really awkward. It was like, the acting was up to scale with like a sci-fi original movie. Like, it was horrible.
So was some of the CGI.
The CGI was not that great either. I was hoping for great, like, beautiful set pieces, but it was all CGI, and a lot of it wasn't that great. I mean, some of the outside shots, like going into the island, was beautiful, but once you got up close to some of the things, it just wasn't that good. Her mom, like, sometimes her mom, Hippolyta, I can't pronounce it right, but y'all know who I'm talking about. At times she would have like an accent, and at other times she would just be talking in straight English, like a straight normal like white person, and it was just weird.
Like, get that shit together, Hippolyta.
Yeah, basically. I don't know, like, no one seemed like they were putting their all into this movie. Actually, one of the best actors in the movie was like the fucking baby version of Wonder Woman. She actually did a good job.
Yeah, she sold it. You could definitely tell the innocence, and you could see that she had the drive to become a great Amazonian warrior.
Yeah, but like, she acted better than Gal Gadot did. Like, don't get me wrong, Gal Gadot had the look of Wonder Woman. Like, she was beautiful.
She's
like
gorgeous.
You would believe, like, yeah, she's a powerful woman. You know, she's tall. Like, she's definitely had the physical features.
Her facial structure, she had like
facial structure's awesome. Yeah,
structure, you know.
But her acting was really bad.
She was so fucking bland. I'm so sorry. If you were watching this movie, you feminazis hoping that you were just gonna get a strong, powerful woman, you didn't. You got a fucking bombshell.
Yeah, and not in a good way. Like, the acting was really, really bad. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Let me just go ahead and say this. I'm not a Marvel fanboy that just hates on DC films. I'm not a DC film hater. I love DC comics. Right. I want all these movies to be good. I'm not here to hate, but I'm also not going to sit here and sugarcoat shit for you. If I don't like something, I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm not going to make it seem like it's better than what it is just because I'm a fan. And for y'all wondering, yes, I read comic books. My whole life is surrounded by comic books and pop culture and these characters. That's why I'm so passionate about this. So don't think for 1 second that I'm hating on DC or I don't know shit about DC. Like, I know a lot. And that's why I criticize these films to the point that I do. I'm not going to sit here and act like something's great or something's okay or good just because I like Wonder Woman and I like Wonder Woman comic books. The movie was not that good. I honestly don't know how it got, you know, as good of like critiques and ratings as it did.
A 96% rating?
Yeah, last time I checked Rotten Tomatoes, I think it was like 94. Like,
you're lying to yourself. That movie was pretty much ass.
It was like a World War I film with like a random Wonder Woman thrown in there, and it was like there's one point like she climbed out the trenches, and like, it was just weird. Like, for one, every time they shot a bullet at her, for some reason it would like go right here, and she would just block it like this every time. And after a while,
can we get some different angles on that
like,
trajectory?
So no bullets hit down here or up here. Like, no, it's just right here every time. And for one, you're Wonder Woman. Like, why are you caring about bullets?
She had 3 techniques while she was doing, like, while she was fighting. There was nothing else. A few leg swoops. You know, she might throw the shield around a little bit. I mean, other than that, you really weren't seeing too much action from Wonder Woman.
And every single action scene went in slow motion, and it made it corny. Like, it was really corny. Every time, even when the Amazonians were in the beginning of the movie, every time they shoot an arrow, they would have to slow down the whole scene. Like, every time, literally, not even exaggerating, literally every single action scene was like slow motion. And then sometimes it would fast forward to fast motion to make it seem cool, but it really made it seem corny in the long run for me.
It was like Max Payne meets DC Comics. That shit was ass.
Yeah, like the Matrix, like when they slow down for bullets, like everything will slow down and Wonder Woman would be like it was just, I don't know, like.
We just got off of seeing this bad movie, so we're sorry if it's not all coming together like we wanted to.
I'm really flustered right now because I was actually given the impression by everybody that I talked to that this is going to be good.
Movie, and it wasn't.
Yeah, like for one, like the first 30 minutes of the film basically like almost took me out of the movie to where like I was already starting to hate it because the acting was so bad. And finally, she left like the Amazonian island, and it started kind of getting better. Like it started picking up the pace. You know, they sprinkled a little humor in there, and I thought maybe it's gonna get good. Like I'm not. The movie wasn't all the way horrible, but it was not good. And like someone commented on my Instagram that I saw right when I got out of the movie, and he said that when Wonder Woman was in London, it was just like when George of the Jungle went to New York in George of the Jungle, and like that was a perfect way to like a perfect comparison, like a total perfect comparison. Like it was like. You know, she's an Amazonian and she doesn't know about normal modern day life, and here she is in London having to fit in. And
yeah, like let's just put it like in London you can't even show ankles. She's showing up in like fucking skirts and a fucking mini top, you know what I'm saying?
With a shield and a sword. And yeah, like I got the humor in it, but it was, I don't know, it was, after a while it was just like whatever. And
ultimately, we realized that you could put Wonder Woman anywhere; she'll never fit in.
Yeah,
especially like this movie will never fit into my movie collection. I'm sorry, DC.
Yeah, like Chris Pine did a good job acting. You know, he's the main like male role in the film. He actually did a good job.
Steve
acting.
Trevor.
Yeah, Steve Trevor. His friends did a good job of acting.
Right.
But. Yeah, that's about the only people who did a good job. A couple of like the German bad guys did a good job. There's not that much action in the movie, period. Like there's like 3 or 4 action scenes, and most of them are like of Wonder Woman fighting Nazis. And the same thing happens every time. Like he said, like she either does like a little leg swoop or grabs them with a lasso and like swings them. And every time she's just dodging
the
like,
bullets hit exactly
knocking bullets
the same
like
place.
this. It was like
it was kind of redundant after a while.
Very redundant.
It was as if every scene was just these same 3 scenes and they just showed it for different parts of the movie.
Yeah, and mind you, the whole time it's going in slow motion, so you're in agony the whole time that you're having to watch the same fight scene happen over and over again. And here's, for one thing, she jumps out of the trenches, crosses no man's land, which, if you don't know what that is, it's a spot between the Allied forces trenches and like Germany's trenches, to where like they've like gained like an inch of land in like 3 or 4 years of like battle, and then she jumps out of it and like crosses it within 30 seconds, and no one at all is looking surprised like, oh my god, how is this random woman in like a superhero outfit doing this? Everyone just went right along with it like it's not fucking weird. No one was taken aback. Then she goes to this little town, saves the town. She's picking up whole tanks and cars.
Nobody's surprised.
No one's surprised. No one stops and says, hey, like, what are you? Like, how can you do this? No one has a single expression of awe.
We've seen people pick up tanks hundreds of times. This is
like, even the townspeople
Germany.
The townspeople don't even come out and look at her like, oh my god, like, what are you? Like, no, they just act like it's fucking perfectly normal because no one had any emotions in this movie. It was fucking monotone as fuck. And of course, it's probably because Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder have something to do with this movie. I didn't even know they had something to do with writing the story, but now I'm really not surprised because they do not know how to fucking write a fucking film with emotions. Like, you could even tell that Chris Pine's character, I keep forgetting his name, actually tried to show some emotion in the movie, but the script wouldn't allow him. Like they're trying to build up chemistry between him and Wonder Woman, and you could tell like he wants to build it up.
Yeah, he's
but just the blank expression on Gal Gadot's face the whole entire time doesn't allow for the romance to pop. Like it doesn't allow for the romance to pop at all.
God, there was even like an epic romance scene where, you know, they won the battle, they got the town back. She knows nothing of, you know, modern dancing. You know, she refers to it as just a sway, and the snow falls down, and it's a mystical moment where you've never seen snow before. And at that moment, you think there's about to be a kiss. It never came.
Never came at all.
Like, it never came.
It even like looked like you could tell Chris Pine just wants to like stop the whole film, say fuck the script, and be there for what they're supposed to do, improv. Yes. But they wouldn't allow him because Zack Snyder was behind this story. He also produced this film, and you can tell, I know Patty Jenkins directed it, but you could tell Zack Snyder had something to do with this movie. And I'm telling you, DC, if anybody like would reach out and just see this video, get Zack Snyder away from your movies. Like, I know Zack Snyder's a human being. I feel really bad for like what he just went through with the death of his daughter and stuff. But like, please, like, get him away from these movies. Like, get him away. He is ruining them. He does not know how to make fucking the right. He does not know how to know. Like, it's just, he does not know what to do. Like, he doesn't. And all like. Even the film has this look of like complete CGI darkness, and it's just not working. Like, I understand DC Comics is a little darker in tone than Marvel, but it does not have to be completely devout of light. It does, and of humor and of love and all that. It doesn't have to be completely dry of emotion, and that's what this movie basically was. And I just did not appreciate that part. The villain Ares. Let's talk about the villain Ares.
Oh god. The villain Ares, I'm not gonna lie, at some point in the movie it was quite a big twist when you thought that the original German chief or whatever would eventually be Ares.
Yeah.
And then they come back and one of the allied forces actually...
Yeah, like the guy with like... The guy that's working for Britain and stuff, like, he's like the Chancellor or something. You think he's a good guy. It's a big twist that he actually turns into Ares. Like, I can honestly say, I didn't see that coming out of nowhere. Like, I didn't see it coming. It came out of nowhere. So, DC, hands up to you for actually keeping that a secret, because you can't keep things secrets. You did a good job of keeping out a lot of things about the villain in your previews. And I thought you were doing a good job of that. But then, after seeing the movie, I realized you kept him out because you knew people would be, like, very disappointed.
Yeah,
besides the twist.
Like, yeah, actually, after the twist, then you realize that this guy actually is gonna be Ares. He's a fucking, like, 90-year-old face god.
Yeah, like I don't, if you haven't seen the movie and you're watching this preview, the guy's like 60 years old and he's got one of those curled up mustaches.
He has
like,
a mustache,
like Charles Chaplin or something. Like,
holy fuck,
it's
like
really bad.
Winston Churchill meets fucking MacGyver or something.
And I'm thinking maybe he just had that form, like an earthly human form, and like Ares was gonna rip out of him, or he was gonna turn into this beast mode Ares. No, all he did was get some armor and had the same face. And for y'all that collect action figures and like have the DC multiverse version of him, like, you're probably not gonna be able to see it there. But you guys know what I'm talking about, who are toy collectors like me, and a lot of the people watch my channel are toy collectors. It doesn't even look as badass as the figure at all. It doesn't. And the CGI was really bad on it, and they never even let you get a good look at it because it's so dark, and they don't want you to realize how bad of CGI it was. Like, there's no details in his armor, anything. Doesn't even have the same hat or like the same helmet from the figure. And you see this old guy's face in like the helmet the whole time, and it completely takes away all like the badassery of the villain. Like, you're not scared of him at all. Like, it's really bad.
He's not Ares. He's just this fucking guy with a mustache who put on fucking some type of armor, like, please.
Yeah, like, it was bad. And really, for the whole half first of the fight, really the longest portion of the fight, he doesn't even have any armor. It's just this old guy
he's
fighting.
In a fucking suit
literally.
Or some shit.
And then, like,
with
the
a
last
top hat.
yeah, the last 30 seconds, he gets the armor. And then when you realize he gets the armor, it doesn't make him any more menacing. It's just like, why the hell are you now, like, fucking 8 feet tall with all this armor and this swords and shit, but you still got the same head? It's fucking stupid. Like, and the last fight was completely bogus. It lasted for like, you know, lasted like a minute, and really all that happened was
it was like Chronicles all over again. You remember?
It was
last
not. It was nowhere.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't as great as Chronicles, but the last scene of Chronicles, all the fucking levitating objects shooting at you and shit. We see that in every fucking movie. Like, can we?
I mean, I would have been fine if they're gonna levitate objects as long as like they made it epic. They didn't make it epic at all.
Yeah, they didn't actually come in contact with each other that much at all. Like, they didn't have to fight each other directly.
Yeah, it was, and then really like out of nowhere, like Chris Pine's character has the ultimate sacrifice, and he like blows up this airplane full of like toxic weapons and stuff while he's in it, and like, yeah, that's sad and all, but then Wonder Woman just goes no, and like does this little thing, shoots Ares with this lightning out of her wrist, and bam, fight's over. She killed the God of War in like 4 seconds. And it was just anticlimactic. Like, you had all this build up for this to happen, and they couldn't get a good fight scene down pat at all.
Fuck, you get 2 gods together.
Yeah.
And that shit was more ass than 2 Logans fighting.
It wasn't even as good
like,
as
it wasn't nowhere. No, it was
wasn't.
nowhere near that. Like, that was the only thing about Logan that really appealed to me in the first place. You know?
Yeah, like,
was that fighting scene?
The fight scene, but at the end was just like, it happened so quick. It's reminiscent of like the Doomsday scene in Batman vs Superman, and it doesn't make sense to me. Like, you have these 2 gods clashing, fighting each other. Like, say what you want about Man of Steel, the fights in that movie were epic.
Amazing.
Like, that's how the end, like, climax fights should be, when there's 2 superpowered beings fighting each other. A good fucking fight. Like, yeah, people complain that they took out a bunch of buildings, a lot of people died. I don't care. As long as they had a good fight scene. That's what we come to comic book movies for. You could fool yourself and say that you're there for a good story. You're there for backgrounds of your favorite character. You're there to see iconic moments of your character. No. What you're there for, what I'm there for, what everybody's there for, is the super villain fucking fights. That's what we're there for. And everybody knows that. And DC Comics cannot get that shit down pat for the life of them. Like,
oh my God,
it was so anticlimactic, and it was like a waste of time that I spent 2 hours watching this whole movie just to see this. Like, I went through all these slow motion Nazi fighting scenes. I'm sorry, like,
you also have to understand, it's like fucking Wonder Woman versus the fucking
God, like the daughter of Zeus versus the Nazi god of war.
Yeah.
Well, he's not a Nazi, but
well, I'm saying the rest of the movie was literally fucking Wonder Woman, the daughter of Zeus, versus regular men the whole time. So it's like, at this point, we were hoping to see something pretty fucking epic, because she's been whooping a whole army's ass since she started on the movie. Like, it's been overkill since the beginning of the movie. Mind you, she's only doing 3 attacks.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's like old video games when you had like 3 moves you could do throughout the whole, like on Super Nintendo, you could either punch, kick, or press 2 buttons together and do like a little jump spin kick. That's what this movie was. And I don't know, like, I'm sorry, I'm really frustrated, but I don't know why I allowed myself to think and get my hopes up that it was going to be epic. Like, the beginning of the movie I thought was really bad, just due to the bad acting, that it was taking me out of the film. Like, just due to the bad acting. If there was actually good acting and people sold their parts, the first part of the movie would have been okay. The middle part of the movie wasn't all that bad.
Really,
like, when she banded together with Chris Pine and his friends, and they went on like this little journey through London and all this stuff, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't good.
Thank you, Chris Pine, for saving this movie.
Yeah,
and making
he really
it at least
did.
bearable.
Like, it wasn't good, are great, but it wasn't that bad. It was acceptable, and if it led to a good climax, I would have said overall thumbs up on this movie. But I can't say that because the end was worse than anything, and just like that, it's over with. Like all this build up, just like that, it's over with.
Right.
So
took the whole movie trying to find Ares, and then whenever you finally decide to show some of your true power, it took 4 seconds to defeat him.
And like Ares has been dormant for hundreds and like what, thousands of years.
Right.
Like, and here it is, his time that he comes back. And this is the time the Amazonians have been waiting for. And Wonder Woman's the God Killer, the only one that can stop him. I just feel like their showdowns should last longer than 1 minute. And all lead down to you just doing this and destroying him. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, there wasn't that many Easter eggs in the movies or that much references to anything as far as Justice League goes. At the very beginning, nobody even had to wait for it or anything. They started off by doing a flashback, which was, you know, pretty good concept. And she's already working for Wayne Enterprise, so thank you, Justice League. Like, we already knew in like the first 5 seconds, you know, that y'all were going to lead to something with the Justice League. Yeah, but it doesn't, don't get me wrong, it doesn't show you any Justice League stuff. Right, of course not. Or anything like that. No, nothing. If you're waiting for something at the end, there's not going to be no payoff at the end. Sometimes superhero movies can be kind of bad, but they just give you this one after credit scene that just gets you excited so you forget, like, oh, the movie wasn't that good, but that after credit scenes really got me excited for what's coming next. That definitely didn't happen. Right. It was just a nod to the fact that she was at Wayne Enterprises. And that's one of the only Easter eggs throughout the movie. This movie, like, does not tie into really anything DC. It was its own story. And I could say it was a great Wonder Woman origin story, but it was like most of the film was like a World War I film. Just add a random Wonder Woman that just doesn't fit in. This is exactly what it was. It was Inglourious Bastards if they took one character out and just put an Amazonian in. And I haven't even seen Inglourious Bastards, but I believe him. But we could talk about this. It wasn't even that good. Inglourious Bastards was an amazing movie. I'm sorry. We could talk about it all day, break it down all day. Y'all need, if y'all haven't seen the film, y'all need to go see it and form your own opinion about it. Don't just think because we didn't like it that y'all won't like it. Right. But like I said, we're not sitting here to sugarcoat anything for anybody. I know I'm going to get backlash on social media for not liking this movie. I'll be called a DC hater, and that's fine with me because I'm surrounded by DC
a woman hater by the feminazis.
Yeah, by the feminazis. I read DC comics every day of my fucking life. I love DC. Movies are ass. Right now, like, the DC cinematic universe cannot get it right. Was it a step in the right direction? Yes, only because it actually had a cohesive story without that many plot holes. Was it a good movie? No. Do you need to get rid of Zack Snyder, I mean? Yes, get rid of him. But like I said, we could talk about it all day. We're gonna go fucking watch something better to get our mind off of this stuff. So be sure to follow me on Instagram at FunkyoPop_912. Let me know what y'all thought about the movie in the comments. And if you hated my review, go ahead and tell me. I don't mind. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm simply giving you mine. But y'all have a good day, YouTube. And be sure to subscribe. We're out.